The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan.
This one's wife. All royal connections cut. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Harry is a prince by birth, and he received the title Duke of Sussex when he was married as a gift for his marriage from the Queen. He has been a member of the royal family all of his life. It's an extensive family, with uncles and aunts and cousins once removed and so on and so forth. Easy to trace because they're so prominent. And yet, the ginger renegade finds himself in a position whereby he has now had every single royal connection cut. This has occurred as a consequence of his behaviour, again aided and abetted by that of his narcissist wife. As I've explained before, Harry was selected as the intimate partner primary source because this one's wife's narcissism saw that he was an individual that would provide her with significant fuel, substantial character traits and residual benefits, and that he was comparatively easy to control. Jackpot went to the narcissism when her sights were trained on him. And through an application of spicy poontang and false compassion for his vulnerabilities, mirroring his interests, this one's wife drew him in and ensnared him. Naturally, there were those that were sceptical of her, and when it comes to the royal family, the vetting and scepticism of those that are going to be joining the firm is perhaps greater than that might ordinarily be exhibited amongst other people joining a family. Not only do you have to be deemed to be suitable for the person that you're in the relationship with, but you have to be appropriate and acceptable to the concept of the royal family as a whole. It can't be the case that a member of the royal family could be seen, for instance, marrying somebody who has an extensive criminal past, or somebody that is known for being a particularly unpleasant individual. That means that scrutiny applies, and the speed at which the relationship went, which is a common factor because the narcissist needs to bring the new prize under control and embed them as quickly as possible, did not go unnoticed. Not least by Prince William, who cautioned his brother against proceeding with undue haste, and Prince Philip, who memorably stated, "One does not marry an actress, one steps out with them." He recognised what she was. And undoubtedly other members of the royal family, not driven by racism or misogyny, deemed that it perhaps wasn't the most suitable of matches. But as we have come to know, Harry wasn't for listening, and driven by his own petulant nature, his own narcissistic traits, and his emotional thinking, along with no doubt a hefty dose of pity plays and blackmail by this one's wife, he was duly ensnared. And the upshot of that is that he finds himself in a position of being ostracized, that he has nothing to do with his father and stepmother-in-law as a consequence of the fact that they have decided to let him get on with it, that they have been dismayed by his behaviours, the disclosures in Spare, for example, the things that he said in interviews, all of which, of course, has been encouraged by his wife, because the less he has to do with his family, the easier it is for her to control him. And it is a classic manoeuvre of the narcissist to isolate that intimate partner primary source so that perceived interfering elements such as William, Philip, Charles, and other individuals become nullified. By taking Harry over the sea, she takes him onto her territory, away from the influence of friends and family. Friends thought that she was nuts, that they thought that her behaviours were far too woke. They didn't warm to her. And so Harry has not only lost his friends, he's been ostracised from his family, but also he's lost his royal connections. He didn't know about his father's ill health just recently until he saw it on the news. His brother and his sister-in-law have implemented a process of no contact following expert advice, and this applies to his nephews and nieces, who he doesn't have anything to do with. Other members of the royal family have kept their distance because they recognise that not only is he not to be trusted, but they are expressing their disapproval of the way that he has conducted himself with regard to the airing of dirty laundry and besmirching the good name of the royal family, along with, of course, the reprehensible behaviours exhibited in relation to the false accusations of racism and the disclosures that were made in the Oprah interview. Out of all of the members of the royal family, however, he was able to maintain cordial relations with Princess Eugenie and her husband. And it was regularly noted that it was likely that information was flowing to the Sussexes from them, and they were seen together. But now we learn that that last royal connection has now gone. How do we know this? Watch this.
The reports are that he is lonelier than ever in Montecito. He has no friends. He has zero relationship with his family. We just read that he cut off Eugenie, Princess Eugenie. And so what is he going to do with all this unstructured time?
Hang on, that was, I'm glad you mentioned that.
On how many ways his life has gone wrong.
Well, that was because of me, actually, the Eugenie thing, because she was having lunch with me and a group of people in a pub in London, and I was seen hugging them goodbye, and Harry saw this and went completely ballistic. I can confirm, breaking news, that is entirely true.
You're doing the Lord's work here.
This is a short clip from Piers Morgan Uncensored as he's talking to various panellists. I don't know who two of them are. One of them, I think, is Maureen Callaghan. And she's talking about the fact that Harry is lonely in Monty Shit Show, that he's got no friends, that he's ostracised from his family, and points out that he's just recently lost Princess Eugenie. And Piers Morgan confirms that that was because of him. Naturally, the narcissist that is Morgan wants to ensure that he gets to crow. And whilst he's likely to be using the truth, I've told you before that the narcissist can use the truth, the half-truth, and nowhere near the truth. He explains that the cessation of that relationship came about from the fact that Prince Harry had seen Piers Morgan hugging Eugenie outside a pub. And therefore, because Morgan is naturally viewed as an enemy of both Harry and this one's wife for his repeated criticisms of the two of them, see parts passing as to the detail of all of that, this meant that Eugenie was consorting with the enemy, and therefore the dimwit, and again no doubt as a consequence of the diktat and orders of his wife, has then decided, I'm not going to have anything to do with my cousin. Yeah. Furious and went ballistic, his own narcissistic trait of anger coming to the fore, it caused him to then decide that he's not going to have anything to do with his cousin. This is demonstrative of what a dimwit Harry is, that he's a hothead, and that because he's doing the things that he believes that will please his wife, he ends up cutting off his own nose to spite his face. That the last royal connection that he had through Eugenie has now been lost, and that he is the one that has done that in a fit of pique. You'll recall that as part of the ongoing saga involving Dr. Sophie Chandauka, there was an attempted rebuttal of the allegations by suggesting that a close royal source stated that the allegations were highly misleading and baseless. Well, as I pointed out at the time, Harry doesn't have a close royal source, and this confirmation on Piers Morgan Uncensored by Maureen Callaghan and Piers Morgan confirms that the last connection that he had to the royal family through Princess Eugenie has gone, and it was Harry the idiot, in a spiteful act of pique, that he got rid of that relationship. He is now completely cut adrift from the royal family, utterly isolated, still mired in the awful shared fantasy created by his wife, and still yet to wake up. She has him under control, and there's nothing that the royal family are able yet to do about it. And he's brought this situation on himself as a consequence of his behaviours. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.